Okay, welcome back. You're in the commentary booth with the elite forces of PvP, Kill2 and Ravy. We're about to watch HYDRA Reloaded fight Paisti Syndicate. Paisti's on the left. They've brought 2 Slipners, 3 Rooks, a Scimitar, a Cormorant, and 3 Kitsune.
And HYDRA's on the right-hand side of your screen with their flagship Balgorn, 3 Artillery Sleipners, a Scimitar, 2 Thrashers, and 3 Carries. This is, I think, just a case of Paisti has gotten predictable. This is the 3rd time in a row, I believe, that they've used this setup. And guys, I know copying me has done you great so far, and it's done most teams great so far, but you can't use it 3 times in a row because HYDRA will find the exact counter, and this is it right here.
No more some good theory crafter made up that setup. Good job copying him, huh? Now it's me.
This one is all me. Unfortunately, it's going to get decimated as we see the Cormorant disappear unbelievably quickly.
Wow.
The Kitsunes are about to follow. In this case, what we're seeing is that the HYDRA team is able to stay outside of the jam optimal of the Paisti team, damp some of their jammers down, and use the artillery from these Sleipners to just pick apart the E-War frigs. And once they're gone, the Paisti team's not going to have enough E-War to win the fight.
And one thing, Pop, that you mentioned before the match started is the ranges were exactly perfect for HYDRA in this situation. They were right at probably, what, 60K?
Like 6, even a bit more, 75 or so. But that's basically perfect optimal for Tremor on these Sleipners.
So Kitsune is out of the way. As we know, when jamming setups lose pretty much anything, it's bad news, and it's just going to get easier and easier here for HYDRA.
Losing half your jamming is, yeah, very bad news. At this point, they're just going to probably pick off the Scimitar or a Rook. It looks like a Rook here, and they'll be able to do it pretty much at their leisure. These HYDRA carries are under a bit of pressure, but not too much.
So, wow, carries died, speaking of not too much. And the other 2 are both getting shot. This is actually a situation where Alpha is kind of playing a role. You can see they've hit armor and then got popped back up as Monte Carlo there in the Scimitar does what he can. Now the HYDRA Thrasher taking some damage.
Yeah. What we're seeing here is the power of the Sleipners and being able to kill off small ships. Once they get on top of it, they can finish off small ships quite well. If Paisti can manage to keep these Rooks up long enough to finish off all the small ships for HYDRA, they may be able to do well if they can get in close. But that's actually what the Balgorn is really here to help HYDRA with. Once it gets within range of those Sleipners, it'll be able to web them down and newt them and turn off their micro-warp drives and hardeners.
There we go. I was actually looking at the Balgorn, and he had everything shut off, definitely jammed. No ECCM on that Balgorn, but now he's back active, and that's bad news for Paisti.
Yeah. Losing these damping ships is going to hurt, but once most of the jamming ships are gone, then the damps aren't going to be too needed. So if HYDRA can just manage to finish off these last 2 Rooks before they lose all of their damping, I think they're going to be in fine shape.
Yeah, it's actually a really kind of important distinction between the damp setups and the ECM setups. The damp setups don't necessarily topple the way the ECM setups do. I mean, you want as many damps as you can get, but at the same time, you can finish a match without your carries, whereas losing the Kitsunes at the start is really crippling.
In this case, the damps were mostly effective once those the ranges were larger between the 2 ships. The Paisti team's going to want to be getting in closer against these artillery setups, and especially considering that the optimal jam range on the Rooks actually isn't that far. So once they get within close range, you're not going to be able to damp a Rook down below that anyways.
So we just lost the last Rook, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm, again, still watching this Balgorn. You're seeing the other view of it, but he's got newts on both the remaining Slipners for the Paisti team, and he's got one of them tackled, probably pair webs on that guy.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to run their hardeners, their micro-warp drives, or their ganglings for much longer. We're seeing some split damage applied to the Balgorn, which should be shield tanked, so that's actually a pretty significant amount of damage to it, and also to Ambersay and Sleipnir. You'll see that Count Monte Carlo in the Scimitar did an excellent job. Both Duncan Tanner and my old friend Ramo in their carries were saved actually in Ramo's case, into structure, but in very low armor in Duncan's case.
And yeah, an indication of kind of where this match is at. The Paisti Scimitar has actually given up on life and activated self-destruct. So
yeah, I think that's just going to delaying the inevitable by running away would have been typical for a lot of the matches we've seen. But Paisti is far too honorable for that, and they're going to get this match over with so that we can get on to more of these amazing matches.
Yeah, it's really too bad, I guess, that Paisti brought the same. You just can't do this. I mean, there is a really weird game, right, where every time it seems like you can't do it, there's sort of a draw to doing it because nobody will expect you to. But
in this case, I'm pretty sure that HYDRA at least considered it. They may have not known that they're going to bring it, but they definitely
have to be able to handle it.
Yeah, they have to be able to handle it, and so they brought a setup that can handle other things as well, but is especially good at killing these ECM teams.
So obviously the artillery is kind of find a particular home against E-War based, like against DCM setups, because they can pop stuff so quick. But we don't see artillery generally. Actually, yeah, that was a Paisti.
Yeah.
with Slipner's.
Yes, the Paisti Sleipnirs are using autocannon. So
well,
more
what's the deal?
damage.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, the Paisti Sleipnirs will be doing more damage. The Paisti Sleipnirs will have a lot more tracking. But the alpha strike provided by these Sleipnirs for HYDRA allows them to pop all kinds of frigates very quickly. So it lets you pop tackle, and then you can kite if you want to. It lets you pop all kinds of E-War frigates, things like Sentinels, which could otherwise be problems, things like Carries and Kitsunes. Those all die very quickly. As we saw, the Destroyer and then all of the frigates die almost instantly for Paisti.
So you saw the Scimitar disappear off your screen. That was self-destruct. So good job to him. A hero for not wasting our time. And
I'm sure Paisti's going to come back next year with another great run. They did well last year. They did well this year. And we should see great things for them in the future.
Yeah, in this field, making it to the quarterfinals is certainly not.
It is.
Yeah,
there's nothing to scoff at for that.
Yeah, totally. So, but good job, HYDRA. My Alliance going to win the tournament, and we'll go back to the studio.